You're alone in your apartment one night, and you start to hear the thoughts creep in. You're using too much electricity. Ha! You can only afford a McChicken. Ooh, you have bills to pay. The demons are really trying to get you tonight, aren't they? You start to mentally escape, and you start to think about how much fun you used to have in school, or as a kid, just playing video games and not a care in the world, when all you had to do was worry about homework. Wait a minute. Homework? That thing that was the bane of our childhood? That thing that was always in the back of your mind when you were watching copyrighted videos of Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting in the Nether? You're looking back at it fondly now. Yes, I think the first neuron just fired. DJ, give me a beat. So, I like to think that there are two stages of childhood. The first stage is from the time when you're born to when you're like 10, and your biggest concerns are quicksand, the Bermuda Triangle, and that the sun is gonna blow up in like 5 billion years. And then we get into the Shippuden years, part 2 of your childhood. So from 11 to like 17, 18. At the beginning of this age range, things are just starting to click. And then towards the end of it, you think you know everything, but you don't. But at least you know the difference between right and wrong on a good amount of things, and that's pretty good. But don't forget that those years are the years where you find yourself scrambling during the middle of the night to read a book summary from like 4 different websites right before your English test in the morning. Which by the way, as an English major myself, I can tell you that with 100% certainty that if you have read multiple summaries of a book, you've read the whole book. But coming back to this part 2 of childhood, you still had to deal with like a bunch of trials and stresses. And there's 2 reasons why you're coming back to these memories as a comfort. So, number 1, obviously, those years are behind you. It's in the past and you were able to conquer them. And with what you're dealing with now, you point to your past self and you're like, you know what? That guy had it so easy. You're able to assess that the stresses that you had to deal with back then weren't actually so bad. So let's say you're like 23 now and your childhood ended like 5 years ago. Do you not think that the you from 5 years in the future, 28-year-old you or whatever, is looking back at your current self being like, wow, that guy had it so easy? And number 2, the fading effect bias. This is that thing when like a few months after your ex breaks up with you and leaves you in the dirt, you start to think, you know what, they weren't so bad, and I miss them. But to give it that like Webster's MD type of definition, it's when negative memories fade much more quickly than positive memories, and all you're left with is like a overwhelming majority of positive memories. So we're escaping to these positive memories without having a clear picture of the bad memories. And the point of this video, the answer to when life starts to get better, life starts to get better when we become grateful for the times that we are in, and we start working towards an even better tomorrow. That way, so that version of ourselves can look back at this time and be like, damn, they put in the work so that I could have a better life. Thank you. Recognize that the situation you find yourself in today isn't permanent, and take responsibility for the direction you choose to take your life in the future. And I've got an Urban Dictionary definition for y'all too. Put simply, life starts to get better when you stop talking to rocks and stop thinking that the alignment of the stars is going to fix your sleep schedule. I have videos on how to actually get past this almost like depressive feeling. So this one that I have linked right here, I think that it is the most beneficial video I have ever made. So watch that and don't forget, we're all gonna make it.